Hi, I'm Gina Watkinson from the Arizona State Museum at the University of Arizona. Today I'm here at the ATALM conference in Washington, D.C. in 2015, and I'm going to talk to you about labeling museum objects. The Arizona State Museum uses a paper-based labeling procedures. The first thing you're going to want to do is, using a Word document, print out all your catalog numbers in columns. You're going to want to make different sizes of numbers, as well as putting it in bold. You're going to want to use an Arial or a Century Gothic font. Once you have your numbers all printed out and ready to go, you want to put your tools and materials together. Normally, we like to put our objects on a Lazy Susan so it's easier to move around. When you're labeling, there's different types of objects you're going to be labeling. If you're going to label a basket, you want to make sure not to put the label on the start, because that's a significant cultural, it can tell archaeologists and curators about cultural identification. So you're going to want to put a tag usually on the base and not on an area that has dies. So on this particular basket, I would suggest putting one here, and then you'd also want to look for, specifically on a basket, you're going to want to look for an area that's not really bumpy, like on an area over here, perhaps. So you really want to take the time before you get ready to adhere your label on to find an appropriate place to put it. So on a textile, you're not going to want to put a label, adhere a label directly onto the textile itself. So what we do is we do a similar process where we're using Tyvek, which is the textile, the fabric-like Tyvek, and we paste it on the label the same way we did earlier. And then we would place it on how you were going to roll it. So this is a little too large for this particular object, but you would whip stitch or hand stitch this label around the Tyvek to this particular object. Another way, if you're really concerned about a fragile object or an object that has a really corroded surface, and you don't want to put a label directly onto the surface, you might want to use a tag. And here, this is this is a Tyvek tag. You can buy this at many museum supply stores. This one was already pre-strung with cotton string, and we did the same process where we adhered the catalog number onto the Tyvek paper, and then you can put on the for instance, on this particular object, you can add a tag to the bottom if you didn't want to label it directly on. Again, this tag is a little too large for this specific object, but you get the point. If you do make a mistake and put a wrong number on an object, which hopefully you don't do, but it might happen, you can take it off with a bit of warm distilled water. So you just want to warm the water up in the microwave, and use a cotton swab and lightly put a little bit of water on the cotton swab and remove the adhesive and the label off the object. Also, you want to make sure that the paper that you're making the labels with is acid-free, and one of the ways you can do that, well, first you want to make sure you can look in the back of the paper in the package, but you can also use an Abbey pen, and these are also, you can purchase this at museum supply stores, and all you want to do is make a little dot or a mark, and this one turned purple, so that means that it's non-acidic, and you can see on this paper it turns a little yellow, and that means it's an acidic paper.